So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology, and welcome to my iPhone 11. Should you buy it, or should you buy the iPhone 12? You can also use this video to help you decide if you should upgrade from the iPhone 11 to 12. But these phones, while they might look extremely similar on the surface, I'm finding the differences just after 24 hours of having the iPhone 12. There are pretty evident differences here on the iPhone 12. So let's go ahead and talk about the key difference. So let's begin with the first one, and that is the price. So this iPhone 11, while it launched at $699, it became the most popular selling iPhone around the world, and now it's even cheaper at $599. Does that make it a great deal? Yes, it's still a great deal. This is a 4G LTE phone, but that is one key separator right there. 5G makes its way to the iPhone 12, and you can get the iPhone 12 for $799 with a carrier contract without $829. Depending on where you are located, the iPhone 12 could cost more or less. So do let us know, depending on if you're not in the US, what the prices are for you. Now, the first major upgrade here, it's not noticeable on camera that much, is OLED. The LCD display Apple decided to go with on the iPhone 11 is the same as the XR, and I definitely got on it about this plenty of times. Although you don't really notice it that much, it has great contrast ratio. It's still a good display. It looks kind of like the iPad displays in terms of overall quality. The OLED for the iPhone 12 is just so much more saturated, more beautiful. It just keeps in line with other competitors in the industry. And not only that, they did up the resolution to well over 460 ppi. So the pixels per inch, this is over 1080. The pixels per inch on here is actually higher, way higher than that of the iPhone 11. So when you're reading text on the display, the iPhone 12 is just so much sharper. Also, if you take a look closely at those bezels, the iPhone 12 has extremely thin bezels by comparison to these chunky bezels on the iPhone 11. So if you like a more sleek design with a more, I would say, almost all-screen look, you will probably still like the iPhone 12 more than the 11. But you take a look at the top, they both have notches which both house Face ID. Further elaborating on that display, you will notice that the iPhone 12 actually gets about the same brightness, 625 nits. However, when you are in direct sunlight, the iPhone 12 can crank all the way up to 1200 nits. So this thing can get really, really bright, and it supports HDR playback as well as HDR recording. We'll talk about that a little bit later. On the whole, you can see that the iPhone 12 is actually shorter by a little bit, making this the same size screen but more compact to hold, a little bit more comfortable to deal with this display. So really like how it feels in the hand versus the iPhone 11 feeling definitely chunkier, definitely bigger than the iPhone 12. Now, so far, I'm not seeing any difference in the scrolling. Both of these are 60 Hertz panels and they scroll very similar. I am noticing the iPhone 12 definitely feels a little faster to pop apps open. We will be doing speed test, but you're not getting a 120 Hertz display here on the iPhone 12. It's still the same 60 Hertz, so don't expect it to be any smoother than the iPhone 11. Now, this iPhone 12 does come with this ceramic glass. Now, this ceramic glass will make this phone much more resistant to cracking. However, I already put a screen protector on. You probably didn't even notice, but it's not gonna make it so much more scratch resistant, but very, very more drop resistant over the iPhone 11. So if you're worried about dropping your phone and cracking that display, I still recommend putting a screen protector, but if you're worried about dropping and cracking it, the iPhone 12 has a quality of life improvement of being more durable on that display. However, I'm not sure if it'll be more durable on the edges. The iPhone 11 feels very sturdy. It doesn't feel quite as sturdy around the edges. This just feels like a solid block aluminum. This feels like lightweight aluminum on the iPhone 12. Now, here's a couple other differences. The iPhone 12 is actually a lighter phone, so you're getting a similar size screen and a shorter, not quite as wide body either. In addition to that, it's lighter. So overall, just you'll notice this right away. If you had an 11 or a 10R, you'll just notice there's a slightly more compact overall feel to the iPhone 12. And for me, that's major because you're getting the same size screen, a higher quality screen, and a more easy to manage day-to-day phone with a classic, iPhone 5S style sides, along with, you could say, like the iPad Pro. I just really like how they made this phone feel lighter than the iPhone 11, and I think you might like that as well. The iPhone 11 just feels like a bigger phone even though it has the same display. So Apple's obsession with thinness, lightness continues here with the iPhone 12 series. And also I noticed that the cameras have about the same thickness when coming off the body, so that's about the same. If you take a look here, they moved the SIM card tray off to the left side for the iPhone 12 and kept it over there on the right for the iPhone 11, but the sides make a very big difference here in terms of how you feel when holding these phones. Okay, also you'll notice in the camera settings, both of these can do the same 4K 60, but Apple added HDR video. Now, quick warning about this, if you are gonna be editing in post, this is like really professional type stuff, this high dynamic range. Yes, you can do it on the iPhone, but if you take it to a computer and you don't know what you're doing, you might have blown out highlights. So turn that off if you want classic iPhone video, leave it on if you want super vibrant Dolby style HDR video. But that's a new feature here in the camera. Other than that, they both have smart HDR. They both have, you know, the ability to prioritize fast shooting. You can see lens correction on here for the iPhone 12. And when it comes to recording slow-mo, they both do the same slow motion. Now, I will say that the iPhone 12, it's hard to see a difference so far in the camera. I will be comparing these in the full comparison, the cameras, but really what I'm seeing mostly is just that HDR video is a major upgrade. They both have ultra wide angles here. They both can zoom about 5x, so they're pretty similar there. And I think you're going to be hard pressed to see big differences here in the camera, but you will see a difference in the video. The video should be more colorful and more HDR on the iPhone 12. But I probably wouldn't upgrade this iPhone 11 to the iPhone 12 just on the merits of camera. I think it is a big enough upgrade, but I think if you care much about the HDR video, you're probably going for the Pro anyway. So for me, the camera is not the deciding factor here between these two. But that moves me on to the next one, which is the A14 chipset. Now, I'm going to do a proper speed test on these going forward, but for this one, I could just say it does seem a little snappier so far. Like things are just opening a little faster here for the iPhone 12, but you did have the A13 on here, which is no slouch either. It was already faster than the competition in the industry. They both have 4 gigs of RAM, so the iPhone 11 is going to have excellent performance as well. You can buy the iPhone 11 right now and still be very, very happy with the performance for years. The iPhone 12, though, feels a little snappier with this A14, not going to lie there. So I will have to confirm this, but so far I'm liking the overall performance. I still wanted to see 120 Hertz on the iPhone 12, but the performance is looking darn smooth right out of the gate, so that's pretty good as well. So again, 5G, but this also can do a little bit deeper submersion in water. Not that you're going to take your iPhone 12, your just bought iPhone 12 and submerge it in water, but this can go 6 meters, this can go 2. So another quality of life improvement for the iPhone. 5 nanometer A14, not really that noticeable like we just mentioned, but again, if you add all these things up, the iPhone 12 is bringing quality of life improvements that just make the overall iPhone experience once again refined. What does this mean? It means that Apple is just adding little evolutionary things that just make your iPhone experience better. And I think for the target customer for the iPhone, this strategy works. The reason it works is because people don't want to learn a whole new type of way of operating their phone. They just want an iPhone that's a little bit better every year. And if you are the type of person who wants an innovative, different type of style of iPhone, like maybe a folding phone, you're probably a niche crowd because most people just want to see their iPhone get a little bit more improved. Now, I will say so far, the battery is actually looking better for me on the iPhone 12. I will have to do proper testing to confirm that, but the iPhone 12 is looking to have a little bit better battery life in my experience so far, draining at a similar rate to last year's iPhone 11 Pro, but I will be doing further testing on those. I think either way you go here in terms of battery though, you're gonna get through a day. So while I do think Apple really focused on battery on the iPhone 11, I don't think it's going to be terrible here for the iPhone 12. Although with 5G enabled, that could definitely sip some of that battery, especially if it's active, meaning that you're actually pulling in 5G signal. So in conclusion, the iPhone 11 or the iPhone 12, which one should you buy and should you upgrade from the iPhone 11 is another question. If you don't have the 11, skip right over to the iPhone 12. It's just worth it. It's worth the extra $200. There's enough little improvements to make it $200 better than the iPhone 11 right now. If you have an iPhone 11, I think the only reason you would want to really go to this iPhone 12 is that you love the design and you want OLED, because other than that, I don't think 5G is as big of a deal right now as most people are making it out to be. It will be down the line, but I think if you have the iPhone 11, if you just wait a year, or two, you're probably going to see major differences to the notch on the iPhone, and that's going to be feeling like you just got burned by getting a very similar phone on the iPhone 12, and now you got to hold on to that phone. So it's a tough decision if you have an 11, but if you don't have one, I would say the 12 is definitely the better option easily, mostly for me because of that OLED display. That's just a major upgrade, bringing it in line with most of the industry. In addition, having the HDR cameras, this beautiful design also is pretty nice. 5G giving it future proofing. There's enough little upgrades to justify that little extra cost. However, one thing I don't like is that Apple advertises this thing at $799, but if you're not buying it with a carrier, this thing is $829. So last year, the iPhone 11 was $799 no matter how you bought it. Let me know what you're doing. Are you picking up an iPhone 11? Are you picking up an iPhone 12? Or you got an 11, you already upgraded, you're like, Nick, I already did it. I love it. It's great. Let us know your experience down below. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more, because you know we're going to cover all these iPhones. We're going to do the speed test. We're going to cover it going forward. So look forward to seeing you in the next one. Be sure to be well and peace.